The rain came down in cold, merciless sheets, turning the dirt road into a river of mud. Emily Harper had just finished tending to her family's small farm when the black van pulled up beside her. She thought it was strange. Nobody ever came this far out unless they knew the land. Before she could even question it, 3 masked men jumped out, their boots splashing in the puddles. Her heart pounded, but she didn't scream. She had learned long ago that fear only made bullies stronger. But when they grabbed her wrists and forced her into the van, the quiet farm girl's world tilted into a nightmare. Emily was known in town for her gentle spirit. She worked hard, spoke softly, and never sought trouble. But her quietness often made her an easy target. Some local men, bitter, restless, and cruel, saw her as someone they could intimidate for sport. They never considered who she was married to. To them, she was just the shy farm girl. What they didn't know was that her husband, Captain James Harper, was a highly trained Delta Force operative. And when the call reached him, no amount of distance or danger could keep him from her. The kidnappers thought they were in control. They shoved Emily into a dim, abandoned barn outside town. One of them sneered, mocking her silence. "What's the matter, farm girl? Cat got your tongue." Another laughed and kicked over a bucket just to hear the clatter. Emily sat still, her hands bound, her eyes steady. She wasn't afraid for herself. She was afraid of what James would do when he found them. She knew her husband. He had faced war zones, hostage crises, and enemies far more dangerous than these men. If he discovered what had happened, these bullies wouldn't know what hit them. Miles away, James's phone buzzed. He was on base, running drills with his team when he saw Emily's missed calls. Then came the message from the sheriff. "Emily's been taken." His blood ran cold, but his mind sharpened like steel. He didn't panic, he calculated. Within minutes, he had coordinates, maps, and tactical gear. He wasn't coming as a soldier bound by orders. He was coming as a husband whose world had been threatened. Inside the barn, Emily tried to talk sense into her captors. "You don't know what you're doing," she said softly. One of them laughed and crouched in front of her. "Oh, we know exactly what we're doing. You've been looking down on us your whole life, acting better than us because you've got your farm and your happy little marriage." Emily blinked, stunned. She had never once thought she was better than anyone. All she had ever done was live quietly, kindly. Yet envy had twisted these men into something dark. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble, not from thunder, but from heavy wheels rolling down the dirt road. The kidnappers exchanged nervous glances. One of them peeked out a crack in the wood siding. Headlights cut through the storm. A black SUV stopped just yards away. Silence fell over the barn, broken only by the rain. Then the barn door exploded open. James Harper stepped in, rainwater dripping from his tactical jacket, his eyes burning with fury. He didn't shout. He didn't need to. The sight of him was enough to freeze the bullies where they stood. "Step away from my wife," he said, his voice low and deadly calm. The first man lunged at him, swinging a rusted pipe. In one fluid motion, James disarmed him, slammed him against the wall, and dropped him unconscious with a single strike. The second tried to pull a knife, but James was faster, twisting his wrist until the blade clattered to the ground. The last kidnapper, trembling, his bravado gone, backed away, hands raised. But James didn't let him off easily. He grabbed the man by the collar and growled, "You had the chance to walk away before you touched her. Now you'll answer for it." Within minutes, the men were restrained, their arrogance shattered. James rushed to Emily, cutting the ropes from her wrists. For the first time that night, her calm broke, and tears spilled down her cheeks. She whispered, "I knew you'd come." He pulled her close, holding her as though nothing else in the world mattered. "Always," he murmured, "no one touches you." "Not ever." The sheriff arrived not long after, taking the bruised and battered kidnappers into custody. The townsfolk would later whisper about what happened that night, about how the quiet farm girl was never truly alone, and how her husband, a soldier hardened by war, had become her shield. But the story wasn't just about vengeance. It was about love that stood unshakable in the face of cruelty. Emily had lived her life believing kindness could soften even the hardest hearts, and though these men had proven otherwise, her belief wasn't broken. "They were lost long before they found me," she told James quietly. "I just hope prison teaches them what life on a farm already has, how to work, how to respect, how to grow." The James looked at her, astonished by her compassion even after everything. That was Emily. gentle, forgiving, but never weak, and as the sun rose the next morning, cutting through the storm clouds, the world seemed to remind them both of a simple truth. Love is its own kind of power. It protects, it endures, and when tested, it rises stronger than any darkness. That night left the town with a story they would never forget. A quiet farm girl kidnapped, a Delta Force husband who came like a storm, and a message carved deeper than fear. True strength is not in cruelty, but in the love that refuses to break.